His video is for people who are somewhere between 16 and 25 years old, ambitious and know you can do great things but don't know where to start. You believe in God and are working on your relationship with Christ. You feel like you want to do something for Christ, or maybe you just believe you can achieve great things but aren't quite sure how. I am like that as well, and on this YouTube channel, I share what I have recently learned on my journey. After watching this video, you'll get a basic idea of what makes some people wake up excited for the day, while others just go through the motions. How to figure out what you want to do in life and get clear on your next steps, even if you're feeling lost. A tool that can help you overcoming consistency and make a bigger impact than most people do. And finally, 3 tips to remember as you go through this journey, so you never lose sight of where you're headed. How to find something that made you get up in the morning. Trust me, once you find something you genuinely care about, you'll wake up with such a sense of excitement that you'll want to jump out of bed. To find this for yourself, you need to get a vision. A vision is essentially what the world looks like after certain problems have been solved. For example, the vision Google had was to make all information publicly available to anyone. They did it pretty well, as you can see, and in the process, they made a lot of money and changed the world. Because the bigger problem you solve, the more money you make and the more you change the world. Solving a really big problem that actually changes the world won't happen in just a few days. If you're watching this, you aren't an average thinking person, you likely think in the long term, so when I say that a good rule of thumb is to think about a lifetime, you shouldn't be surprised. Now, of course, it can take longer or shorter, but my point is that you should expect this to be a lifestyle, not just a short-term project. And it's okay if you don't yet know what you want to solve. You don't have to aim for something as big as ending global poverty or stopping climate change, but it should be something extremely ambitious. You know you've picked a great goal when after telling your family, they think you're crazy or naive for believing you can achieve it. Don't rush this step. You should choose something you genuinely stand by, something you're excited about, and something the world needs. Some ambitious ideas could include fixing the education system, making healthy eating easy and accessible to everyone, or solving the mental health crisis. So it's completely okay if you don't have a specific goal yet. Just focus on building yourself and resources so that in the future you will be able to do it. I'm not saying to waste time. What I'm saying is that you should probably focus on the next point, how to become someone who can solve a great problem. Just think about this. What's the difference between who you are now and who you'll be in 5 years when you're out there solving significant problems? Seriously, pause this video and think about it. The person you'll be in 5 years probably acts completely different from how you do now, right? You probably wouldn't scroll mindlessly. You would learn new things every day. You would trust God in everything you do. You would have strong discipline and skills and would be financially stable. You would have a vision, because to work on big goals, you need great tools and resources, and even that future version of you wouldn't have everything figured out when they first start. They will face challenges, but what makes them succeed in the end is that they get back up after every single time they fail. And the question is, how do you become like that? I could talk about 100 different self-improvement principles you should follow, like reading, exercising, meditating, and praying. And you absolutely should do these things because you need to grow. But this video isn't going to delve deeply into all of that. You probably already know these things. If not, you can check out some self-improvement videos, as I won't be going into details here. Let me give you 3 points to always remember as you work on yourself. Build discipline. Discipline is incredibly powerful. When you can consistently do what you want, you will succeed. Don't tell yourself, I'll try hard when it really matters. Because discipline is like a muscle. It gets stronger when you put it under stress, and it weakens when you don't use it. If you don't have much discipline right now, that's okay. Just set a small goal, maybe clean your room, take a walk, or read 5 pages of a book. As you improve, you'll find you can sacrifice more of the present for the future. If you keep progressing, before you know it, you'll be working out every single day, reading 20 pages daily, and putting in 8 hours of work. This is the most important thing in our lives as Christians. God provides us with wisdom and everything else we need, including discipline. So my point is simple. Always put God first, because everything in our lives flows from Him. When you have Christ, everything else will naturally flow from doing His will, including discipline, personal growth, and solving problems in the world. Keep track of where you're headed. Right now, you might not know where you'll be in 10 years, and that's okay. But you should still do your best in the present moment. You might not know what steps to take in 6 months, but you know what you need to do right now. Slowly but surely move toward the person you want to become. What would that person know? What would they do every day? What would their relationship with God look like? The most important step to get there is staying disciplined. And remember, it's not about going extremely hard for 2 weeks and then stopping because it's too difficult to maintain. It's about keeping small actions consistent over years and decades. That might seem overwhelming, but reading for 50 minutes a day for 10 years is far better than reading 2 books in 2 weeks at the start and then stopping. This also applies to negative behaviors. If you know your friends have a bad influence on you, spending time with them regularly will have a much worse effect than if you only met for a few weeks and then stopped. I'm not saying to cut all your contacts, but be intentional. Be intentional about who you talk to, what you watch, and what you do. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent with small, positive habits and starting to cut away the negative ones. Over time, the impact they have on you will be significant. Create a battle plan. Identify your goals and regularly reflect on your progress. Add new positive habits and remove negative ones. You can set a reminder on your phone for every 2 weeks, so you won't forget. Now, here's the most interesting part: how to have an impact. To solve those huge problems one day, you need to start working on smaller ones now. This will teach you skills and also lead to fixing the big problem. In my opinion, the best way to do this is by building an audience. Here's what I mean. Let's say you watched Sam Sulek, a bodybuilding YouTuber who recently blew up because of the way he creates videos. People love his personality and the way he makes his videos. It feels like they're hanging out with a friend while just getting information. You can do the same thing. But instead of just recording mindless videos like playing games, you can teach people a skill you know. This might sound completely out of reach for you, and I understand, but let me explain. Let's say you're someone who enjoys working out and truly loves the topic. You know all the influencers in the space, understand how to work out and the proper techniques and everything in between. You also love cooking, Jesus, and let's say reading The Lord of the Rings and similar books. What you can easily do is create videos teaching people about these topics. For example, you could create videos like my system for reading 1 book a week and how you can do the same, or how to cook the best post-workout meal in just 5 minutes, or how I started praying regularly with these 3 simple tricks. The key is to create videos where you teach others. This is crucial. If you only focus on entertainment, it just won't work. If you add your personality, people will actually enjoy learning from you. Here's the game changer. Imagine that every month, 10,000 people are learning from your free video on how to improve their exercise routine and cook meals that complement their workouts. This will obviously take some time, probably months or even years. But it's a possible goal if you stay consistent. Once you have an audience, you can launch a paid product, like offering one-on-one help to anyone who needs guidance in the gym and with nutrition. Out of those 10,000 viewers, if just 10 people buy your $1,000 coaching, you'd make $10,000. Or if 100 people buy a $100 product, there are so many ways to make it work. You can teach people just about anything. For example, it could be a drawing course that costs $50. It can really be anything, but some things tend to work better than others. Honestly, the hard part won't be the long hours. You can do this in a pretty short time, like a maximum of 4 hours a day in my opinion. The tough part is that you won't see results right away, and you'll need to keep pushing because one day it's going to take off. The day will come if you don't give up. This is what they call an exponential graph. You progress really slowly at first, but then suddenly you boom and grow faster than anyone else. So let's recap. To change the world and make a lot of money, you need to solve a big problem. Work on becoming the person who can solve that problem. Develop killer discipline. Always keep your eyes on God. Doing small things over really long periods of time is what makes a difference. Teach others online and build an audience. Stay patient and consistent. If this sounds interesting to you, I have something that you might find really valuable, and it's also free. I'm not going to tell you what it is here, but you can find out in the first link in the description. That's my take. I'm one of you and still figuring things out just like you, so I hope this was helpful.